Welcome. I am Jemima Wilcox. I'm the co-founder of the Wilcox Collective. We are adventurers on a quest to create visual content for curious businesses. Today we are having a panel discussion with my collective members, and the topic is image enough in a video world? So I am delighted to have two of my collective members join me today. I'd love to introduce you to Rahini. Rahini is the CEO and manager of Livewire Media. She's a Birmingham-based media company offering a team of creative specialists who can bring your idea to life from concept through to completion. And the thing about Rahini is that most other video production companies or photographers, they want to help you understand and help you create the content you need because you're busy and you don't have time to learn social media strategies. The great thing with Rahini is that she's got over 10 years experience in marketing too. So it's not just creating that video, it's also understanding your marketing brief, understanding your goals and creating content around that. Welcome, Rahini. Also, we have Ina Gomez joining us today. Ina first started out producing and directing films, real, cinematic experiences, and then moved into photography. She specializes in portrait photography, running a company called Family Memento, which is a portrait business working with families and individuals and working around there. And she really likes to be able to bring the personalities out within a subjects, make them feel really comfortable, really at home. And we want to welcome Ina to the group today. So welcome, Ina. So everybody, we are going to be talking about today, is an image enough in a video world? Now, I'll give you a bit of context why this thought came into my head and why we want to talk about this today. Is that I started thinking about some personal projects recently, and I started thinking how I want to focus on doing something around my BAME and STEM and women in business and women in the industries of different places, and listening to a Radio 4 program about female mathematicians, and I thought, it'd be great. Be fantastic to bring a female mathematician, us living in Cambridge being the hub of these kind of things. Let's photograph them. And then my brain went, no, we just can't photograph them. We have to think about other ways we can make this visually interesting. And I started thinking about sketch notes, and then I started thinking about overlaying. And then it kind of brought me back and realizing within the world that we live in, the rise of TikTok, Instagram turning into video, short attention spans, is a single image enough? Rahini, what do you feel about that?
I think it depends on the context. So the reason that videos work so well for businesses in terms of a marketing perspective is because people buy on emotion. So the more emotion that you can give them, essentially, the more of an attachment they create towards it. So, for example, like when you watch a video, you watch it with multiple senses. So you see it, you hear it, you connect to the storyline if there is a storyline. And when a video appeals to multiple senses, that's when people are much more likely to be influenced by videos. That's why videos work really, really well. Having said that, though, images do still have a place. It's another art form at the end of the day, and that just cannot be replaced.
I know. What do you think about that? Is image enough in a video world?
Yes, absolutely it is. And one of the things that you mentioned there is short attention spans. Well, you don't need a long attention span to look at it. It actually takes you much less to look at a photo than to watch a video. In fact, something that's been widely pushed in social media marketing is to be live and things like that. And, me personally, and then I've heard other people say things like, oh my gosh, this live is 7 minutes long. Who's going to watch 7 minutes long of a live? And it is true to some extent. Here we are talking, right? But but it is true that I think that those in-between timings of video can sometimes not work. I think video needs to be short, and that the shortest expression of video is one frame, i.e. one photo. So there's definitely space as small as the attention span becomes, even more so. So especially in a social media world, yes, there is space for photography maybe in a different, podcast, in other arenas, and on your website, and on other places, video is very strong and will continue to be very strong. And of course, I've told very what I feel are very important stories through my filmography, where I specialize in documentaries. But they were longer, and they were an hour and a half, 90 minutes normally was the average, where there's a whole story being told and not, 5 minutes. So, yes, I do think that's there's a lot of photography.
I think as well, it's about the context, isn't it? Because whilst I was researching and looking at ideas of this, and you were saying about attention spans, and images there. It's the power of what the context of the image is to really grasp that attention. So it has to be punchy. And I think that's where my brain went about, having video is going to retain that attention span, but having that single image is going to get that person to pay more attention to it. But that's also what Rahini was saying about the story and things like that. I would love to hear about, are your clients asking you for, video? Because it's such a massive trend with TikTok and Instagram coming into, our lives, and seeing everybody having that. So Rahini, tell me, have you noticed in the time you've been in business the demand for video rising?
Yeah, absolutely. So before I started my business, like near enough 8 years ago, I did a lot of research to find out what the trends in marketing were going to be. So if you do your research, you kind of can more or less predict what's going to be big in the next few years. So I already knew that AI technology was going to take off. I already knew that video marketing was going to take off several years ago. It just took some time for people to catch on to it. And unfortunately, it took a pandemic for people to realize about the power of video.
Mm. That's really interesting. Ina, have you, within, being a photographer and offering that, do your clients require you to do any video? What's your experience with that demand?
No, and when I did start, I did offer videography, because moving from the moving image to the still image was a huge step. So I always at the beginning did offer videography, but I felt more inclined to photography, because those moments that you can capture in photography sometimes almost become much less when it's in video. If you can imagine, for example, I don't do weddings, but if you can imagine those very emotive moments that are captured in photography in a wedding, that in a video, because they're actually a fraction of a second, in a video they sort of, that they become very small in comparison with everything that happens. And not to put video down, video is absolutely fantastic, and for anyone getting married, I recommend doing both video and photography. But if you can imagine those moments that are captured, they stand out when you take a photo. It's almost like highlighting that frame that would be in a video. And it's from a family perspective, for example, that's what you can hang on the wall. It's not a video. So yeah, I feel like I've lost my point there, but I hope that was helpful.
I think something that's really important as well with this side of us educating our clients is that myself and Ina know that what kind of process goes into planning a photo shoot and planning the idea. And Rahini, I'm sure you can appreciate when you talk to your clients, you understand their brief and their goal with their marketing aspects. But do you think that there's still an element of having us educate clients the different skill sets and the time video takes? Because I do feel like sometimes clients come to us as photographers and say, oh, I'd love some stills and video. We can't pull ourselves into two different people because it's two different skill sets. So really, do you feel that there's an element of education with the clients, or are they quite understanding how much effort and time goes into and valuing what you do?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, there are occasionally clients that come to me saying, can you do photos and videos as well? And if you can do that, you're a legend in my books because it's a completely different skill set, completely different camera settings as well. I mean, sure, I can take a few photos for people on the side, but the main focus is going to be video. And I think in some ways people appreciate a photo more because it's still so that they can focus on it. So let's say, for example, you've got an image of a beach. You can appreciate all the details within the waves and the sand, etc. Whereas if it's a video, you're focused on the movement, so you're not necessarily appreciating the detail of the art behind it. So I think people are gradually starting to grasp that video is a different mindset compared to photos, but they both have their own place in the world.
No, I see, because it's interesting for me. My background doing portrait photography has always been stills, and then I brought in video for marketing for my own until I then realised that I had that capability of offering it to clients. It took me a long time to have that confidence to do so. But I think it's funny because I think in previous conversations I've had with the collective is that if photographers find, the video aspect quite difficult, and videographers find the photography aspect quite difficult. It's all two different mindsets. So either you coming from, the videography side to photography, does that resonate with you? Which one do you find kind of more of a challenge?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That does resonate with me, and it's part of the reason why I even stopped offering videography. It's just I find that it's a complete different setup as well when it comes to equipment itself. It's not the same, it's not the same equipment, and with video you become very quickly obsolete with your equipment. Whereas in photography it is more stable in that sense. I mean, there was a huge evolution obviously when digital and everything. But since then, the next one on has been mirrorless. There haven't been such great radicalization of photography as there has been of video. So you're I think you're treading on more stable water when you do photography, or at least that's my feeling. And yeah, I don't know. Because I came from the film industry, my what I was used to is working with large teams. I mean, even when I was doing documentaries with my smaller teams, that was still around 10 people. So, going from 10 to, oh, it's just me, and if I'm really lucky, I have a helper, your standards, that, oh, I can't be doing it right because it's just me when I used to have people. So, or you used to be a team, and now it's just me, it can't be right. You feel like, oh, maybe I'm losing professionalism somewhere, I'm losing quality somewhere. But it's just different, it takes a while to understand that it's just a different offering. You're not creating a fiction or a documentary that requires diffuse production or whatever. You're producing something else and you don't need a huge time. So, but yeah, but I feel it's a different craft, and therefore if you can offer both, amazing. But I think the ideal is being able to offer both, maybe in a larger team. So, for example, I'm not sure if that's your if it's just you or there's more people. I know, Jemima, you have teams around you and 3 roles, so it's different. Me on my own, I no longer want to offer video. I could offer it in collaboration with other people, but me on my own, I don't feel comfortable anymore doing that.
Why is that, Ida? Can you expand what makes you feel uncomfortable about offering it?
Well, it is what I just said. I think video requires more of a team. I'd say not like in a film, in a fiction film. The bare minimum you could see 20, 25 people on set. Documentaries are obviously much smaller, but there's still quite a few people. And but videography maybe for marketing or talking head kind of video, it can just be one or two people, but still, I think one, you have to, well, think of it, you need, video includes image and audio, so, at the very least, you're going to have two people one looking at audio, one looking at video at the very least, So, yeah, I feel that I can't control all the elements if I'm doing videography on my own.
No, it's very true. Rohini, I'd love to hear from you about, when you have clients that require multiple aspects of, say, you're doing a talking head or you're doing some drone work, where do you draw the line of knowing where your abilities are versus the quality that you're going to give the client?
I think the beauty of video marketing is that you can pre-qualify a prospect before they even get on the phone to you. So by the time the prospect gets on the phone to me to say, yes, I want to do business with you, they're already aware of the type of services that we can do. So they're already aware of the limits. If they do ever ask for extra services like graphic design or photography or whatever, I mean, we've got a photographer in our amazing team. I can just say, look, let me see my photographer, or let me see if they're available. And then we can collaborate in that way. So that way, then I'm not stretching my own areas of expertise. Having said that, though, if there's like a property company and they do just want a few photos, as well as the video, then more than happy to do that. But I'm going to be very transparent that it's going to be taken on my phone. You'll still get that quality, but it's going to be taken on my phone.
That's really interesting. I think that the trap that us as professionals might fall into is that, as you say, Rohini, about qualifying the client beforehand and understanding what they want, is that we might want to, please them, make sure we get the business by saying we can do all of it. But there's also that risk of saying, yes, we can do all of it, but we can't then guarantee the quality is there. Ina, do you agree with that?
To a certain extent. I mean, certainly if it's just me doing it, yes, I would have to, like Rahim said, be transparent on what I can guarantee and what I can't guarantee, what quality I can guarantee. But if you work with more of a bit of a wider network, and you bring in people that you consider on your team, whether officially or unofficially, and bring those in that do have that area of expertise that you got. So you're not stretched there. So, but of course that includes a bigger budget, because then there's another person that needs to be paid, and not every business client is willing to stretch their budget that much, but hopefully they will understand the importance of having the right person do the right job.
No, I completely agree with that. And thinking about just kind of the client demand around what's happening, and I want to just share with this and the audience, is that last year in 2021 we had an equal split of requirements for clients wanting video and wanted photography. So me coming from a photographic background, that's where my expertise lies. So anything photographic, I am on it, and I know exactly what needs to be and where I can advise and support. Videography wise, we have our team, we have Rohini, we have other members of the collective that can come and do this. And I feel like I would be having a disservice to say, I am capable of doing video. I very much am, and I have leveled up my experience and over time. But I do think there is a lot to be said about having an expert in each field. With that, and as what Ina says about the budget, it's fascinating to share with you actually that this year in 2020, 60% of our clients were photography. And I think that's really telling, because it's interesting that, we did do video, but I feel like that is an indicator for me that an image is enough in a video world, because there are certain things that an image can do that a video can't. For example, a big project myself and Ina and the team were working on was the graduations for a summer school this year. And I don't think we're at a time yet to have mini videos to commemorate a graduation or like a thing. There is always going to be videos to do that, but that's still that can be shared quickly, that can be printed, that can be used as a momentous thing to look at. I think there's definitely elements there. So Rahim, do you think that we're going to get to a stage in the future where we've got it's going to exist as where we've got digital photo frames? Do you think we'll have digital video photo frames, like people's videos on walls.
Yeah, I think, like, do you remember Harry Potter? Like, where you got like the moving portraits. I think it's going to go more like that. I think there's going to be people who appreciate that kind of style where it's like a moving portrait. And I've seen adverts for that already. I've seen billboards for that kind of advertising already, where the image is very much 3D because it grabs people's attention.
I've seen
But I
them on the
think,
tube quite a lot, actually. In London, there's, you know, the projections ones that are coming into.
yeah, and I think people are also still going to appreciate the style of having it still because it's focusing their attention on one thing, whereas video is focusing their attention on multiple things.
That's true.
Yeah.
I know. How do you feel about the future with photography? Are we still going to have, you know, jobs?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it would probably look different. But yes, of course, I do think that what Navina was saying about those projections on the walls and things like that, I can see that happening. And actually, lots of small businesses like brick and mortar will have that on their somewhere on their display. I think I saw it more about 10 years ago, maybe, than what I see now, actually. So I don't know what's happened with that trend. It'd be interesting to see because a video definitely captivates. But it is true that also with photography, you have that. Going back to the details that Lavina was talking about, because of the individual focus. So, for example, in the graduation, having a video is fantastic. I think maybe as an overall marketing exercise, but for the individual graduating, not so much. You know, they want their photo, and their family wants the photo of the person graduating. For example, they don't care that much about the event itself or the other people graduating, or even the people giving out the certificates. It's more about the graduate and the person receiving the certificate. So they want that individuality that photography gives you. It could also be video or moving, you know, some sort of short video. I think that's definitely a possibility. Small individual videos, short individual videos of each person, for example. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I don't know where it's going, but I don't think it's going to change. It has to. It hasn't changed much in the last 20 years. So, in the sense of in the way video and film has moved. So I guess it's something that it has to. And we'll adapt when it happens, you know. But yeah, I think there is scope, and I think it has to do with individuality as well.
No, I agree. I think what people need to realize is that when they have clients and the clients that are looking at the content wise, you know, what is going to serve them? Is video going to serve them to be able to, you know, be a teaser or a sharer or something that's going to lead other people to doing things? Is an image, you know, is an image enough in the sense of what they're going to do? But it's all about the different elements of everything, with different elements of marketing. You know, there's you know, as we say, kind of in the marketing sphere, you've got different touch points for clients. You've got webinars, you've got podcasts, you've got photography, videography, you've got email newsletters, and there are all different areas that all need a different type of, you know, visual content. You know, what is a banner gonna work for you? Also, I think something that was raised by my web dev yesterday, which is an interesting point. He was telling me that we're working on our website at the moment, that if you had like a video kind of hero part of your website at the top on mobile, there we're still not to a stage where it's not going to autoplay on mobile because they can't guarantee there's enough data to run it. So I think it's an element of, we're really up there with visual content and video being created, but our technology may not still be matching on being able to consume it if people, you know, a wide range of people can do that. So I feel it's quite a fascinating thing that in the future our data is going to be the thing that is marketing the data around everything that's going to be used. You know, people are exchanging. I think the very interesting part of it is the side of the loyalty schemes like Tesco. We are exchanging our data for, you know, reduced prices on things. But all of these things around it, to make an impact, needs a varied amount of visual content. And it's an interesting thought of a hierarchical nature of the person with a lot of data and a lot of resources can view this, but somebody maybe with less can't. I mean, Rahini, what do you think about that?
I think there's going to be a big shift, because you've got to question if that's going to be the model in the future. Can businesses afford to lose that kind of business? Because not everybody is going to have that luxury, if you like. So businesses are always going to have to adapt to the market, no matter what, which means that consumers are basically driving the market.
No, that's really fascinating. Ina, what do you think about in the future? You know, we've got, you know, very much data driven of exchange of products, and how our visuals are going to contribute that. Do you feel there's a hierarchy with that, or what Rahini said about driving trends, the customers are going to be the forefront of that?
Yes, but you guide them as well. So, for example, if you're considering putting video as a hero of your website, then, and you know that maybe some people are not going to be able to access that video easily, then make sure that you have another point of focus right after the video. So either you have I don't know, it could be a photograph, but it could also be text, or I'm not entirely sure what now, or audio even, like message. But you know, what else do you have there that will guide your potential client's attention to get them to convert, or at least, you know, reach out and speak to you. So yes, we will follow our clients, but we also guide them a little bit, don't we? Or potential clients. And that's why we do marketing, don't we? That's why we put our messages out.
No, this is very true. Brilliant. Well, thank you both so much. To wrap up, we kind of feel, in my opinion, that image is definitely enough in the video world, because I think if we should not look at video in isolation, and it's part of an overall marketing strategy for businesses to use to reach their clients effectively. So, Rahini, just final thoughts. With you coming from a video world, how do you feel photography is going to fare in the future?
I think it's going to continue to pave its own way. I think people are still going to appreciate it as its own art form. I think it's still going to serve businesses very, very well as well.
Fantastic. Ina, how are you feeling as a photographer? You know, are you feeling the image is going to be strong enough to be around in another 50 years' time?
Yeah, positive. Yeah, because it's something, it's more tangible than video. It's something, for example, in a part of families, you know, it's something tangible that can be passed on from one generation to the other very easily. And we do know also that lots of these things are passed on through the fact that they're easy, so they're convenient, and video is not always convenient. I mean, I know it's evolving, and it might become more and more convenient, and you might have those, what are they called, something just sort of holograms, you know, becomes easier, or, you know, we click a button on our watches and there's a hologram with a video. You know, there's a ton of there's a huge future for the world of the image in general, but I think there's space for both, and it's growing space for both. I think there's a growing trend of people who wouldn't have normally reached out to me and are now reaching out to me. So, and that I do speak not just from business and marketing. I mean, families and people who want to put photography for many other reasons, and not just family. Sometimes it's just the individual who is spending some time. Where I live in Oxford, you know, so someone who's spending some time here and wants to take those memories back in a form of photography, and it's just that person, not even a family. is just that individual and wants to go back home, wherever home is, with that, which is quite tangible memories.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of space for both.
Yeah. Fantastic. No, so today we've talked about, the rise of TikTok into turning to video, our short attention spans, where photography still needs to have that because that captures it straight away. Our clients are wanting, more video from us and they want to follow the trend, but we do need to make sure that we're educating our clients the different skill sets are required for videography and photography, and they need to really know that having a specialist in each is going to be more beneficial for them in the long run. Our client demands are still rising with photography and videography, but it's up to us to make those clients understand that they are both contributing in different ways to the different strategies. They need to have a plan in place to be able to make it effective for them. So I'd like to thank Rahini and Ina for joining me today. Thank you very much to our audience for watching this. Do keep tuned for further Wilcox Collective talks. Thanks so much. We'll see you again soon. Bye.
Thank you.